Coming to you live from the Chamber of Hunters Studios, this is Haunting You. I'm John Schelt.
I'm Keoni Hutton.
And I'm Leslie Reed.
Happy New Year, everyone, and welcome back to the Haunting You podcast. Oh my gosh, I'm saying Happy New Year, but I recognize that it's February and we're like a month behind, but we're a month behind, so I haven't got to say it to you yet. So I'm sticking with it. It is in fact Happy New Year. Welcome to 2025. Oh my gosh, 2024 was chaos. Les, you okay? Have you recovered?
I am recovering, happy in my new role. So yes, we are making good progress there.
You're a recovering 2024-er.
Yes.
2024-ic. Something like that.
2024-ic.
24-oct. Exactly. Well, we are finally kind of settling into, I'm going to call it normalcy or something like that. Like, you all know what our 2024 was like. I'm not going to get into it. We have found a steady state and things are starting to get back to normal. And so we are determined to make an effort to get back to normal on the podcast as well. And as part of that, we have welcomed back our favorite sponsor from the Chamber of Haunters. The president of the Chamber of Haunters, Mr. Robert Nulton, is back with us for a special Chambers Corner to tell us all about what the Chamber of Haunters has going on for 2025. So, Rob, welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
We are so excited to have you back. Let's start by talking a little bit about 2024. Tell us about your season. What have you heard from the industry? How did things shake out for you last Halloween?
Oh, well, as you said,
I think that size
I'm a
says it
recovering
all.
2024. I'm still recovering. Yeah, I mean, the season was definitely not what we expected. I mean, my haunt, like I said, it's Hidden Screams Haunt Attraction in Lewistown, Pennsylvania. I've been in operation for 5 years now, but at the current location only 2. This is our second year.
Yeah.
And last year we did really well, but this year it was rough, and we didn't expect that because we had a lot of good publicity. I mean, word of mouth, but I mean a lot of publicity from all the people that had come through. Everybody seemed to like it. They loved that we were there, providing more entertainment because the area just doesn't have a whole lot of entertainment. There's not a lot to do. So for us to really be able to bring that to the area made a huge difference. But we decided this past season, I talked with a couple haunt owner friends, and we were talking about, the difference between just being open in October, which is what we were last year, versus this past season where we're like, hey, we're going to open in September, stay open until November, get, a couple extra weeks in. Because I thought, well, man, if we did as well as we did in October, if we would have been open a little longer, we may have had more people. So that was the theory behind, instead of being open for, 2, 4, 6, I think it was 8 nights last year, we opened for 12 this year. And we had less people come through this year in 12 nights than we did in 8 nights
so frustrating.
last year. Yeah. And it was like, and honestly, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know the economy was a factor. I mean, heck, everybody we talked to, and we did up our price because once again, we ended up putting a lot of money into some renovations and trying to make it bigger and better. Yeah. So, I mean, overall, it was not the kind of show that we were looking for in 2024. But I mean, we're excited for 2025. I mean, we had our right afterward, we had a Christmas show, which was the first time we did that. Last year we had 2 off-season shows. This year we have 4 going on.
Yeah.
The Christmas one, it was Silent Fright, a Krampus Christmas story. We had a huge turnout. We were busy from 10 minutes before we opened. We had a line of like 30, 40 people out the door, and we were busy nonstop until 9, 10, 9:15 when we closed 3 hours later. I mean, it was a steady stream all night long. I mean, from other haunters from other areas that want to come check us out to just fans. We had colleges come out. I mean, it was insane. We had tons of people, I mean, from hours away coming to see our show. So, I mean, it was phenomenal.
I'm super curious. How does the number of patrons you get on a special event night like this compare to a normal night during haunt season? Like, are you getting more people because you've got a one night show that's super special, no one else is doing anything? Does that increase the number of people you're seeing, or is it relatively comparable?
I mean, I don't know if we could compare it to haunt season itself, only because, like I said, I mean, it's tricky because, like, for haunts, you need to be open, multiple nights to get the numbers and the finances you need to run the haunt.
Sure.
But yes, I mean, when you're looking at the way I try to compare it is so last year, let me put it this way. I compared it more to our off-season events last year, even though this year we're going to have 4. Last year we had 2. The difference with last year we didn't do so well with our off-season events, which it was here nor there. That's not our main money maker. It's the haunt season.
Sure.
So it wasn't a big concern. That's just like extra money to help do upgrades and renovations, get costumes, stuff like that. But we did notice a new trend, which is something I was trying out, and it seems to have worked. Many of my staff were like, "Hey, we should do 2 nights." I'm like, "No," because even though yes, we're there in the building year round, it's like I feel like if we push them to one night, we'll have better success because what ends up happening is, so you say you're open Friday and Saturday, okay? A lot of people are like, "Well, I worked today, I'm tired, we'll go tomorrow." But then you get busy on Saturday, you forget about it, and then Sunday rolls around, you're like, "Oh crap, I forgot to go Friday and Saturday."
That has happened.
And you're
to
like,
me.
"Well, they'll have an event in 2 or 3 months, we'll go to that one instead," But the same process happens at every show,
Yeah.
and maybe not with the same person, but people
But
are
you're
doing the
losing
same thing. I'm
potential
not saying
customers.
everybody's doing that, but I did notice that when I compared the Christmas show with our halfway to Halloween show last May and our Curse of Leprechaun show last March, almost a year ago, in 2 nights, we didn't even compare to the one night in December. I mean, we had more in one night than we did in either of the 2-night events that we had in the off season last year.
Yeah.
And actually, even during the haunt season, we had more in one night during our off season event, making a one night only show than we did even throughout all of October and November and September. I mean,
Wow.
we had more people in that one. Yeah, I mean, it was
Yeah.
insane. So I think having those one night only events is more advantageous just because you're forcing them. Like, this is it. It's a one night only event. You
Yep.
don't make this
Yep.
one, you're not seeing it again for a year because every off season show is different. We try to be unique in what we do. So let me share this real quick. Not take too much time, but this is something that we have found unique for us, and I'm sure there's other haunts that do it, but I haven't heard other people doing it the same way. So, but now I'm putting the secret out there, so someone's gonna get, as haunters, we're gonna copy. We all do it. I've done it. Everybody does it, and I guess it's a serious form of flattery. So it's all
That's
good.
right.
It's right. If I'm doing it right, someone's gonna take it. What we try to do, so when you go to most off-season events, whatever haunt is open, and we're all trying to break into this year-round industry. We're trying to find holidays where we can pick up and make it work, and that's a great thing. We're doing it too. But the one thing I noticed before we would do it, when I'd go visit my friends who own haunts all over, and I'd visit them, great shows, I love them, but I'm a haunt enthusiast. Like, I can go year-round and have fun, but your average customer isn't going to, because this is the thing. They're going to see a similar show to what they see in October because most people don't change the show. I mean, it's the same show, but you put some Christmas lights up. You've dressed some of them in elf costume, but the rest of the show and scenes and decor is the same as you saw in October. If you get my drift. I mean, I'm not judging. I'm just saying that's what you're getting. You're getting the October season show just with some little decorations of leprechaun stuff here, Christmas stuff there, Valentine stuff there, but it's the same show. You're not really changing anything. And granted, we don't change our sets and scenes either, but what we do to make it unique, so when they come back every time, they're not like, "Oh, I saw that in February and Christmas time. I don't need to see it in March and May and then in October." All our off-season events are interactive, meaning there's a purpose to it. Like, so for example, Christmas, they had to escape Krampus, like literally escape Krampus. That was the whole theme of the thing. And so they're doing different things to escape Krampus. Whenever they do our Valentine's Day show, it's a murder mystery style. So it's a walkthrough murder mystery. They're solving a murder mystery while they're going through. So there's going to be clues throughout trying to figure out who did it. And if they win, the winners will get a certain percentage off tickets for another show. And we also have a gift raffle from our sponsors. Like, we have like 7 or 8 sponsors that sponsor our show. They're all pitching in, giving us, whether it's, discount tickets, free admission to movies, prizes, food, different things. So, I mean, one person's going to win this really nice, huge, gift basket at the end. So And everybody that comes through has a chance to win this prize. And that's all thanks, like I said, all the stuff is thanks to my wonderful staff that I have. I mean, I have an amazing staff. I can't be more grateful. I have Stacy, Gabby, Brittany's come on board. We have Dan, who's our manager of the haunt. There's just so many people. It's like Trevor's our security guy. I mean, I can name them all. Kevin and I mean, like I said, it would take me an hour to go through all our staff that are wonderful, but just, all our managers, even, Maya, who's done our makeup, she's done a fantastic job, getting that together and keeping everything organized. It's been fantastic to work with so many great people. So I'm grateful for them because, like I said, without them, I couldn't have the show that we have now. I mean, I've gotten it started, but they're the ones that carry the vision even farther. So I'm grateful. But like I said, going back to the February thing, like I said, murder mystery style. So they're having to solve a mystery and they get prizes and everything. In March, the same kind of thing we did last year, everybody gets flag football belts and there's coins on them and you have to survive the leprechauns going around trying to take them. And, so I mean, if you come out with, with any coins intact, you kept your soul. If your coins are gone, they've taken your soul. So, I mean, very interactive, you're doing things,
That's awesome.
The halfway to Halloween show. We usually put letters spread out throughout the haunt, on stickers, but they're big stickers, and they have to take a paper around and solve the riddle to find out, because our halfway to Halloween show introduces our October show. That's the way we do our halfway to Halloween. That always introduces the theme for October, because from there we're building the rest of the year. We're getting the next show ready. So that show is specifically designed to introduce any new characters for the haunt season or the new theme itself. So that's what it's designed for. So they do almost like a scavenger hunt with letters, trying to figure out. So they'll get these jumbled letters and they're trying to figure out what it is. If those who do, they get a prize as well. But like I said, they are essentially helping us roll out our show as the customers. It's not just us going out there and announcing, well, this is our show. Here's our new characters. Like, they're the ones rolling it out to the public through their attendance.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, so it's just, our belief is, like, I want them to come to every show. So when they get to October, they're not like, oh, I saw that show in December and February and March and May. And they're like, why do I go to October if I'm seeing the same show 4 times before? So we want to make it so when they come back, while we can't always change the sets and scenes, we get that, but you can make the show unique still, even with that. And that's why we do what we do in the off season. So that way October is simply for scaring. Come get your scare on. But in the off season, we're going to be more interactive, have a little more fun with you. So that means you're going to spend a little more time in the haunt than you would, in October, because we're just there to, scare the bejeez out of you and get you out. If we're being honest.
That sounds phenomenal. And now that I'm back in Maryland, I really want to come up and see it. Where are you located again?
So it's Lewistown, Pennsylvania. So we're just 30 minutes southwest of State College. If you know where Penn State is, we're just 30 minutes southwest of there. So it's 19 South Brown Street. Sorry,
you're 3.5 hours from me. Like, that's doable.
Yeah, it's not far.
That's a weekend.
Yeah, I mean, it's really not far. I mean, heck, come on up, see the haunt, and I'll show you some good places around.
I like it. I like it.
We got some good places.
Les, I think I stepped on you. What were you going to say?
Oh, sorry.
Well, I was going to say that it's also a really, really great way to build some ownership for your haunt in the community, for the customers. Like, we're there because they're announcing what your next theme is, because they're doing all of that. They have some ownership, and like, I was part of that. Instead of just instead of being just an audience member, they become a participant, and that gives them. It's a nice thing and a nice way to kind of build that repeat clientele.
Yeah, seriously.
Right. And that's our whole point. I mean, we want people to keep coming back, but we don't want them coming back saying, oh, I saw that show 5 times over. Like, I want them to come every time and say, wow, how do you, because I've had people ask, like, how do you change up your show like that? And the funny part is, like, they don't realize we haven't changed the sets and scenes. I mean, we do. Yeah. We dress it up well enough that it looks like we do, but I mean, we don't tear down walls and put new ones up. We're just dressing things up well enough to make it look like we've done that. But I get people all the time, they're asking, like, how'd you make that look so Christmassy? I'm like, well, we busted our butts for, months and a week, to get that to happen. We're not flicking switches.
Yeah, exactly. I've heard that before with haunts that do like a blackout night where people will go through the regular show and then they come to a lights off show and they're amazed, like, how did you make it so? They will swear up and down that it's a completely different show and nothing's changed except they turned off all the lights.
That happened to us because we did that last year, but we did it for one night only.
Yeah, exactly.
So we did this year for 2 nights, and it's funny because we got the same response. We got people like, "Hey, like I swear, like I'm going through different places, and I didn't go those ways before." And I'm like, "No, you did." I'm like, "Yeah, you did. You didn't realize it, but you did." Because I mean, so one thing we had that was new for this year was a swinging door that was a moving wall. So I built this 8 by 8 foot moving door / wall, and I built it by myself at the time, and that was not fun. I'll tell you, if you ever build an 8 by 8 foot wall / moving door, yeah, have some people with you, because doing it by yourself is definitely not a fun adventure. Okay, it's not my definition of a fun night. So I one night I thought about this for the last year before I built it. I was like, I really want to have like a moving wall where I can have them go down one path, move the wall, and now it's changing. Like, I just went that way. And so during the haunt season, I had this wall that literally, as they would go through, I changed the one entryway. They would go through, they'd push through one way, come back into our manor, and be greeted by the same person who just pushed them through. And, sometimes we'd have them go through that same path like 2 or 3 times just to play with them. We're like, hey, like, you're supposed to go that way. And they're like, we just did, but it brought us back. And we're putting them through again. And they'll come back and they're like, okay, we're going the wrong way. We must have missed the door. So they'll go through the 3rd time. They're feeling the walls. They're like, there's got to be a trick doors here. And there is, but it's the wall right there where they first went in. They don't realize it. So like, then by the 3rd point, when they're going around, like, we quickly move the wall. They come back and we're like, go back through. And they're like, we just did 3 times. They're like, hey, there's no door back there. We're like, just go. And then they're like looking around. They're like, I swear we went through 3 times. And they were, they're not getting it. It's like, we totally moved the wall on them. They have no clue. And it was the funniest thing. I'd love to I always would stand, there's like a corner I created, I could stand and watch. And I'd watch the one actor. She was phenomenal. Her name was Maya. She would just torture them. I mean, there was one group I actually put through 5 times because we were a little slow for like an hour, and she just played with them.
What else are you gonna do with them?
She keeps jamming them through, and I was just busting a gut. I mean, I had to do it quietly because I didn't want to hear you, but I'm there like trying to hold it in. But I thought it was the funniest thing I ever saw, because they're getting frustrated in a good way. I mean, they weren't like mad. Like, you keep sending us through. This is like the 4th time, and she just does it again. And finally, she's like, okay, move, because we did a special knock that she'll do, and she'll knock, and then the guy knows to move the wall, and she did, and then they're like, we're done, we're gonna go the other way, because obviously, so they went backward. The wall had already been moved, so they couldn't come back through. They're like, what the heck? They're like confused as all get out, come back around, and like the wall has moved, and they're like, okay, like what happened? So it's just, I mean, that was fun to play with. I mean, it's a big wall and it's heavy.
Oh, I'm sure.
So I mean, it's not one we're going to keep because we're tearing down the 2nd attraction this year to make way for our new theme. But man, it was fun to watch this year. That was one thing I enjoyed watching, was people being played with time and time again.
I love that. And if people want to come and see all of this ingenuity that you are putting into your haunt, where should they go to get more information?
They can go to our website. It's www.hiddenscreams.com. That's where they'll get more information. We're just now having the Valentine's show information added, so that'll be up, I think, this next coming week. But like I said, they can go there, or our Facebook page, Facebook and TikTok. Honestly, if they can find us on there and follow us, we are on there constantly. I mean, my marketing manager, Stacy, she is a godsend, literally. I mean, she has really raised our visibility to the public. I wish I would have brought her on in that position. She was with us before, just not in that position. And I really wish I'd have brought her on that position much longer, because I think we would have had a better season, even with the economy. I truly believe we would have had a better season. I mean, who knows by how much, but sure. I mean, like I said, to turn around a month later and get us in one night, sometimes almost double what we had during the haunt season in one night, I mean, was phenomenal. I mean, she just blows everything out of the park. So yeah, I mean, that put us on the map with what she's been doing. So we are on TikTok like crazy. I mean, we're putting storylines out there, just blips at a time, trying to tease people, clues, different things. So I mean, we're on TikTok and Facebook all the time. So between our website, like I said, Hidden Screams, Haunted Attraction on Facebook and Hidden Screams Haunted Attraction on TikTok. I mean, follow us, and like I said, you'll see all our characters at play, and the different things we're doing in the events, as well as, like I said, every event we have, we do charity. So we pick a different charity, like we did for the high school I work for. They have a caring closet, so we had people donate bags and boxes of clothes. I mean, we took in, I think, like 4 or 5 garbage, like construction garbage bags of clothes to help them out. We did a coat drive for a local area here, and we had a full box that was probably 4 feet high, full of probably like 100 coats. We did a blanket drive. That once again had like 100 blankets we donated. This time we're doing a food drive. So I mean, we try to make sure not only do we provide entertainment to our community, but we're trying to show them that we're there to help them. Because I'll be honest, in our community, and I don't know your communities how they're like, but we're in one of those communities where it's some people are very deeply religious, which I'm a religious person too. I mean, I am, but I love Halloween too. So it's like an internal conflict. But you get some of those people that are just like, oh, you're the devil, you do this. It's like, no, I don't worship that. It's like, I'm having fun. Like, we're entertaining people. Like, this is like me putting a skit on. Like, we're putting a play on. And would you go to a school and bash somebody for putting on a play about, the night before Christmas? Would you be telling them they're of the devil because they're doing that? Like, probably not. But it's like they'll persecute us. So we do deal with that kind of stuff here. There is some of that with our community, but that's why we're trying to do some of the charitable stuff to show them, like, hey, like, we're not evil. We're human beings just trying to entertain and have fun. Like, this world, is crappy at times, and we're trying to provide a positive influence by just letting people come and scream their cares away. Sometimes you got to scream it out. And what better way than to come and let us scare it out of you?
Exactly.
Let's scare the stress right out.
Exactly. So listeners, check out the show notes. You'll find a link to the haunt and prepare yourself for an epic 2025.
Yes.
Yeah. So we've survived 2024, mostly unscathed, relatively speaking. So
mostly.
Chambers of Haunters is now coming into their 5th year, which is amazing. So what do you guys have planned?
So, like I said, like you mentioned, this is our 5th year. As I've talked in the past, I hate to even ever mention COVID. You mention it and people just, it's like they get that glare in their eyes, like they could just hurt you.
A little bit of acid reflux.
Mention that word again.
Yeah, it's just like everything just kind of gets tunnel vision, and you just go, wait, what?
No. Does. It's just like, don't look at it, But I mentioned it because, like I said, it's one of those things where it happened. We can't not acknowledge it, especially, like I said, having been as the founder and the president of the Chamber of Haunters, and having a national organization where we have hundreds of members. The wonderful thing is, like I said, I mean, to in 2019, 2020, when we started, we didn't know COVID existed at the time, and we heard about something coming about, but didn't think it was anything to be worried about. Like, oh, it's another flu kind of thing, and so it wasn't anything on our radar. And so as we're starting the chamber and we're having that upward movement, we're all excited, and like, things are going great. Members are coming on board. We're seeing this National Chamber of Commerce really take off all over the country. And then 3 months or so, 4 months later, we're told shut down. And it's like, in a day, literally. I remember being at work, where I worked for myself at the time, but I remember literally when I got the news, like, I met up with the guys I work with, and I'm like, we had to stop operations. Like, at that point, like, we shut everything down. Like, there was no like, oh, we'll finish the end of the day. It was like, no, we're stopping this second. And that was just the weirdest. I mean, I've never experienced anything like that in my life.
I don't think any of us
almost 40 years. I've never experienced that. It's like, what is that? And so to be told, like, hey, you can't work, you can't do anything. I mean, I remember having people, like, when I'd be out and about, just to check on the places I managed, there were people driving in trucks trying to report people if they saw them working. It's just a crazy time to be living in. I mean, I never expected to ever experience what I experienced that. And so the reason, like I said, I go back to COVID is because, like I said, it happened within months of starting the chamber, trying to start this national organization and push it out there for the betterment of the auto trucking industry, just provide another avenue of assistance for them. I mean, there's other organizations and associations out there, and that's wonderful, and they're all great, but we can always have more. There can always be more assistance. There can always be more help, more service. You can never stop, helping people. And that was the whole goal when I founded it with the members I did, was to create an organization similar to a National Chamber of Commerce, but within the industry that could provide even more help on top of what was there. And it was just such a downer and very disheartening to have that hit. And then pretty much with, for a whole year or over a year, I guess, to not know, are we going to make it? Because as I'd mentioned in the past, after the first year, we froze membership dues. Now, that wasn't for new members. That was for current members. New members had to pay to get in, but we froze for any new member for about a year. We told them, like, hey, we're not going to charge you. We're going to leave it be. And we took a hit for that. I mean, we survived it, but obviously that's 1 year's worth of recurring income that we didn't have. And I would gladly do it again, because my whole philosophy is we're here to help people. And that's what we're trying to show is, like, look, yes, we'll take the hit, and it really sucks. It really does. But we're here to help you, and we don't feel right taking your money in a time when nobody's getting any. We're all trying to survive on pennies and dollars at the time. So, we were like, hey, we're going to continue to try to our best of our ability, provide you the service and help and assistance you need, and try to get you open for October. Because that was, by the time everybody was opening that October, at least in Pennsylvania, they did allow us to have the choice. Like, we could open, but we had to mask up. You had to have 6 feet distance. You had to check temperatures. You had to buy temperature thermometers, and everybody had to be checked on the way. I mean, sorry, ridiculous. I mean, it's like, and COVID's not gone, but we're still operating in this, with COVID. So it's, I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to get into that section, but you know what I'm saying? Like, the whole world didn't know how to handle this, and we're trying to help other haunts navigate toward their state, because every state had different rules. Their governor or their government would say, hey, you can't do this, you can do this. And so, like, we were constantly fielding calls from members and non-members alike. It wasn't just members. It was just everybody. Just, they knew we were around, and they knew we had people who had experience, whether it was 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years of experience. They were calling for help, and we were constantly, like, on the phone, like, trying to guide them, like, well, what's your state saying about this? And we'd have to look stuff up on their end and be like, well, this is our suggestion, and we can help with some flow on this, and we suggest this, but we tell them, like, look, nothing's, like, we're not lawyers, but we're just saying, hey, you might be able to get by with this, just depending on what they say. You can probably try to do this, and I would take these precautions, just to be safe for you and your actors and your customers. So we're constantly trying to guide people in whatever direction would best suit them, so they could make the best decision, whether that was to open or even to not open that year. And so, like I said, that's one of the things we do, is people don't understand, like, we field phone calls, like, all the time. Like, I get phone calls all the time as president. I give them my number. Like, I don't think it should be a hard task for somebody to call the president of an organization. Not that, I want a million calls, but I want people to feel confident that, hey, like, if I need that one guy, I can get a hold of him. I've never liked, and once it's personal, not to get off track, but I've never liked organizations where it's like, oh, I'm the president. You can talk to every peon below me, but you can't talk to me. Like, I've never been that type of leader. And not that I'm a great person or anything, but I've always been the kind of person, like, I feel like I'm lower than everybody else. You lead by example, among the crowd. You don't always have to be in front, with the sword wielding and, like, oh, you follow me into battle. It's like sometimes you lead among the people. And so that's more of the style I have. It's like, I want to be among the people helping them, because I have the same struggles. It's like, I've gone through them too, or I probably will go through them. And so I want to be there to help them. I'm there it's a service opportunity. I mean, that's why I look at leadership as, you're serving them. You're not there to tell them what to do. You're there to serve them. And so, once again, that's where it all goes back to. And that's a lot of what we provide, is that kind of service. Like, they know they can come to me and any chamber member anytime they want for any kind of help, and we'll gladly help them through. And that's for anybody. I mean, you don't have to be a chamber member to get assistance from us. I mean, to get the benefits that I'm sure we'll discuss here in a minute, that's a different story. But to get help, you can call any one of us at any time, and anybody will pick up the phone and gladly speak and help anybody that calls.
Well, that's actually, I think, a perfect segue let's talk for a moment about those benefits and kind of what the chamber offers to its members.
That's wonderful. Yeah. So as a chamber, like I said, I mean, the one of the biggest things is those networking opportunities. I mean, like I said, it's funny because people will knock that because they're like, oh, I can call, so and so or get a hold. But then it's like when I ask them the question, okay, well, who are you going to call? Who do you know in the industry? And especially newer people who are trying to break in, whether as actors or as, home haunters, small haunters, or just, commercial versus non-commercial haunters. I mean, some people will knock it, but it's like, okay, well, the ones that are knocking networking are the ones that have been doing it for 20, 30 years and know how. But you've got people who are just trying to come in, they don't know. And that's what a chamber of commerce does. I mean, that's really one of the primary focuses of any chamber of commerce, no matter, if it's a state chamber, a local chamber, or a national chamber, including what we do. I mean, we're a chamber of commerce. Our primary focus is how do we get you in front of the right people? How do we help you find the right people to talk to?
And I think what I love most about the Chamber of Haunters is you have people for just about anything that I could possibly need. I need website design. You have somebody. I need legal advice. You have somebody. I need, how do I paint my wall to make it look realistic? You got a guy. Like, if you need a guy to do just about anything in this industry, the Chamber has someone who can help you do that.
And even if you don't know what guy you need, if you call and you reach out to them with your problem, they will find the guy that you need and be like, hey, this is actually your problem. This is the person you want to go talk to.
This is the guy you need. Yeah.
Yeah.
So even if you don't know what your problem is, they will help you find out what that is and provide you with solutions and options and a place to go to get a solution.
There's a lot of value in that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of value in that.
And that translates to money. I mean, I know people don't look at it that way, but it's like, I can't tell you how many and from my experience alone, I mean, I'm sure everybody has their stories of similar things, but for me, it's like when I was put in front of the right people, I mean, that's worth its weight in gold. I mean, I get people who help, like I said, they didn't have to give me money per se, but the advice they gave me, the guidance they gave me made me money. If I wouldn't have followed some of the things they said, I probably would have made some of the money I made. So, I mean, to get that advice, I mean, like I said, knock it all you want, and you may say, oh, well, it's not worth $100 a year or not worth $50. It's like, okay, well, then you try to find everything on your own and you try to figure the puzzle pieces out alone. It's like, we're providing you with a team that's going to help you every time you have a question, instead of saying, oh, well, go figure it out on your own. Every time like I said, I've had people that have come to me 5-6 times over for questions and like, who do I talk to about this or what do I do about that? And it's like, how many people, I mean, like I said, I see people doing that in the haunt industry on Facebook pages. They're like, well, if you would type it into the search, you'd find it. It's like, yeah, they probably would, but maybe it wouldn't come up exactly because you probably got 5 different topics on that one topic, rearranged in different ways or asked in different methods. And it might take them forever.
And it doesn't simply ask the question, just exact situation.
Well, and it's like, sorry, but I'm the kind of person, just answer the stinking question. Like, why do you have, if you don't have anything nice to say, why do you have to even say anything? Like, people get on there and be like, say stupid stuff or just stuff that doesn't make sense to the question. It's just like, look, answer the man or the woman's question and move on. Like, you don't have to say, well, if you go back 20 posts or you go back to July of 2023 in this, area, you'll find what you're looking for. It's like, just answer it. If you know, just say, hey, this is it. If you don't know, move on. You don't have to answer it. It's like, and that's why the chamber's around, is for those purposes. Yeah. Well, and like I said, that's exactly why we created this. It's like, we've never had anybody come to us. I mean, I guarantee anybody you talk to that's come to us for help, we've never been like, oh no, you figure it out on your own, or we can't help you. I mean, even when we don't know the answer, like Les said, I mean, if we don't know the answer, we go find somebody. I mean, if we don't have somebody directly that knows it, I can't tell how many people have said, hey, do you know anybody that's dealt with this? And I'm like, you know what? I don't off the top of my head, but I'll go find someone that does. And I will literally start calling everybody I know and everybody I don't, or emailing and saying, hey, have you dealt with this? Have you dealt with this? And it's like, oh yeah. And they'll call me. I'm like, hey, this is the situation I heard. Can I put you in touch with this member? And, and those people sometimes aren't even members. They're just people that, I know that are not part of the chamber, and I'll connect them. So like I said, that kind of help is the kind of help that, unfortunately, in this industry, there are many who will give it, but there are just as many as that will, there are that many that won't. And trying to navigate that can be very stressful for a newer haunter.
That's it. And if you don't have a place where you can go, like a safe place that you can go and not get ridiculed, a lot of people won't do it.
Well, or they'll stop. They'll be asking questions. They'll be trying to learn. They'll be trying to make it work because it is something that they are passionate about. And to just be run into these walls, and the walls they're artificial. I mean, they're not even good haunt walls. They're terrible haunt walls. But you're running into this every turn, every time you try and ask a question. Well, hey, where do I get contacts that aren't going to damage my eyes? Well, there's like 1,500 posts about this. Just go find one. Or, hey, I have this specific thing about insurance. Oh, well, you don't need. There's always somebody who's much more willing to give you a non-answer and to shut you down than to say, yeah, give me a minute. Let me go look into that for you.
Well, and two, like, and I hate to use this analogy, but I mean, I think it's very applicable. So, like I told you guys off air, like, a year ago this month, I became a teacher. I was teaching, for online Spanish for schools in Colorado, but this is my first time back in the school system. And so, after I've been working for myself for 10 years. And the one thing, like, I've learned, like, I'll tell my students the same thing. It's one thing if I give them instructions and they keep asking the same question, because now I know they're not paying attention. If they're asking me the same questions after I'll explain something and say, does everybody understand? And sure enough, everybody will say yes. But then either no more than probably a few minutes later, I'll get one of two things. Either someone asks me the question and it's like, I just asked you, did you understand? You said yes. Or they'll do it wrong on a quiz or an assignment. I'm like, I just explained to you exactly how I wanted this 5 minutes ago, and you can't do it right. So, I mean, as a human, that's where I get frustrated. But
totally,
that's different than this. What we're talking about, it's. I think this is what frustrates me with haunters in general. Is I would understand if it was the same person asking the same question 5 or 6 times. I mean, if you're going into one, the same haunt chat area, and you're constantly asking, "How do you build a haunted house? How do you build a haunted house? How do you build a haunted house?" Yeah, that gets annoying. Okay, let's be real. That's like the students I deal with in my class. It's like, I just told you, stop asking and read the instructions. That's one issue. But like I said, 9 times out of 10, that's not the issue we're dealing with. It's people new coming on the scene. They don't know where to go. They're going to this page they just became a member of that has 20,000 members in it. And they're hoping somebody will step up and tell them how to do it. And so they're going in, asking a fair question. How do I get into this industry? And instead of somebody trying to be nice and say, hey, this is how I went about it. I'm not saying it's going to work for you, but this is how I did it, and share positive stories. You either get people who share negative stories. Oh, I wouldn't do it because, it's hard. And it's like, that's not what you treat the lifeblood as. You don't when people are trying to ask for help, you don't come in and deter them. I mean, I'm not saying lie to them and tell them it's wonderful and you'll make money overnight. I'm not saying
Rosie, you'll never get splinters. Your walls will always stay up. Nobody will try and damage your actors. It's just roses and sunshine.
There'll never be a bomb cyclone.
There'll never be a bomb cyclone.
And rainbows.
Exactly.
It's perfect. Yeah, you'll never get yelled at. People won't hate you. I mean, it's just like, yes, we want to tell them the truth. The good, bad, and the ugly. I get that. But I think when that's the first response, you're like just going for, you're literally going for the gun saying, boom, let's just get the negative out of the way. It's like, well, hold on. It's like, let's talk about this more in depth. Like, let's answer the question first. Here's how you would get started, step by step by step. Then if they want to know more, you say, hey, just in case you want to go further with this, here's the good, the bad, and the ugly. But I just hate it when I see people going just straight, to the gut with the negative. And it's like, I want to see lifeblood. Like, just simply answer their question. If they want to know the ugly bits, I'm sure they're going to ask, because I guarantee you, nobody's going to be, I hope, that naive to think that it's that easy. I mean, I'm sure someone's going to ask eventually, hey, what's the ugly bits about this? I mean, I usually see that as a follow-up question somewhere, but I think many times people get even scared to ask that because they're like, I just got a negative response to my positive question. I can only imagine.
Nobody wants to ask so I'm constantly having this problem. Is this just a me thing, or is this an every? Right. Nobody wants to ask that when they're, asking something simple. And now it's like, am I just an idiot? No, nobody wants to ask that when they've already been told that they're an idiot. When it's usually something that, we've all had that happen constantly. Here's how we deal with it. And I mean, the fastest way to kill an industry, to kill a hobby, and we're seeing this across so many hobbies and, activities that, were the lifeblood of so many people. It's like, Who do you know that's into carpentry, like truly handicraft carpentry? It's very, very difficult to find stores or experts in it. And the ones you find, they're on their way out. Same thing with so many others. And it's because they've maintained this level of gatekeeping of, oh, well, if you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, that's absolutely useless to build up a community. And haunters are a community, and we want to stay a community. And we want to be a community that sits there and goes, yeah, yes, I've had that problem. Here's a solution. Or, hey, I have that problem. I haven't found a solution. Let's try and find one together. And that's how you keep building. That's how you keep bringing people in and keeping this. So it's not something that's going to die out in 30 years when we're all, old and decrepit and have too many walls fall on us.
Yeah.
Well, and
speak for yourself. I'll be dead by then.
He's like, I'm on my way out the door.
Your child throwing things at you.
I'm on my way out. Well, and that's how I treat. I mean, with the chamber and even with my haunt, I tell people the same thing. We're a haunt family. At my haunt, I think anybody that knows me at the haunt, that knows me well enough, especially my management team, they know that I try to make that clear, not just with my words, but with my actions. I treat them like family because I do care about them. I mean, they have become like family because my mother, going to my mother, not to bring her in this, but she is the kind of person that taught me growing up because I had a dysfunctional family. I had a broken family. I was raised by my mom and my grandparents. And so a lot of people, that have similar situations sometimes don't really, I don't want to say don't grow up right because I don't want to judge them, but just like, they have harder times, especially as they get into adulthood. It's just, they don't know how to deal with it. And everybody deals with those kind of things in their own way. And for me, the thing I learned that my mother and even my grandparents taught me was family sometimes isn't always blood related. Family's not always the people that you were born to. And I learned that very quickly in life. And I've taken that with me since I was a kid now into my adulthood, where I constantly find myself adopting people, so to speak, into my family, where it's like, and it's funny because I know my kids and my wife don't understand that concept because they're like, well, family's family, and it's like, for me, it's like, it's so much more, if there's people that you find that you care about, that care about you and see your vision the same way you do, it's like, how can they be anything less than family? Yeah. And that's the same thing I've taken into the chamber is, it's like, yes, unfortunately, we have annual dues. Okay. Yes, you have to pay to be a part of this family. Yeah, that sucks. Okay. Let's be honest. I mean, I'm not saying it's a positive thing, but
you get a lot of value out of it.
Well, that's the thing. Like, we're providing value. And like I said, we don't get paid as a board. This is volunteer for all of us. I mean, we put in our own time to meet on a regular basis, to go to conventions. We pay our own money to go to hotels, to, attend these conventions and trade shows. I mean, we're not getting paid to be there. It's not like we're getting paid by the hour to be at these places and come home and we've made $1,000 every time we do something, or $100 from every meeting. I mean, that'd be awesome, but we don't. And we do it because we sincerely want to see the industry grow, not just our members, but the industry as a whole. But we make it clear to our members that yes, while you may pay your annual dues, you will find here a haunt family. Like, we're never going to abandon you. Like, we are here for you. Anytime you call, we are here. Anytime you need help or point in the right direction, we are here. And like I said, I mean, if you think about it, I mean, $125, $200 a year, some of those phone calls, for some people, have made them thousands of dollars based on whatever advice they were given or whatever decision they made. And it's like, that right there is that value I'm talking about. I mean, obviously, we're going to be offering a lot more. We offer a lot more than that, and we're going to continue to offer a lot more than that. But that's one of the main functions of a chamber of commerce, is that networking aspect. Who do you know, and how do you get in front of those people? I mean, like I said, we have other benefits such as discounts. We have primal contact lenses.
Don't jump into that yet. We want to take a quick break here from our other sponsors.
Perfect.
And then I want to dig into the other benefits that come with the Chamber of Commerce.
All right. Thank you for listening to those messages. We are now back.
Okay, so we cut you off a little bit there, depending on how Keoni does his editing. But you started talking about discounts that the chamber offers. So
Yes.
let's
To
get
their
a little
members.
bit to their members. So again, you get a lot of things available to you just being able to utilize the Chamber of Hunters, whether or not you are a member. Members, however, do have some additional perks, some additional trainings, some additional discounts. So let's talk about what else does the chamber offer to its members.
Yeah. So, like I said, besides the network, and like I said, that's to me, that's the biggest value. But like I said, you have people that knock it. But anyway, we have other things such as, discounts on contact lenses with Primal Contacts. They've been wonderful to work with. I mean, we love them so much. Stephanie is our main supplier, and she has been phenomenal to work with. I mean, like you said, I mean, you get them for much cheaper than you would if you bought them anywhere else. And like I said, you can get them, in bulk a lot easier. So I mean, just that alone, I mean, people are always looking for contacts. And like I said, I mean, we've never heard of anybody having problems with them, which is wonderful because we know that's a big issue. Like I said, I can't say anything legally as far as, what they're everything, because you get into all that question. I don't know. But as far as their use, I mean, I have people in my haunt that use them, swear by them. People, other haunters have sworn by them. They're at least, a great quality of contact lens that are used. And like I said, they're great partners to work with. I mean, that's just one. We were working with Zagoni Studios. They have since, decided to leave the business there. They've gone through some hard, difficult times, both personally and professionally. And after 50 some years, they decided it's time to close their shop. And while we mourn that, believe it or not, because I mean, I just, truly, I mean, when I heard that, I really wanted to just like break down and cry because they are phenomenal people. I mean, it's just like one of those things where you want to follow the grave, be like, why? Because they are just that awesome. I mean, Janelle and Franco, I mean, they've been great people to work with, and to lose them, not so much as members, but as people in the industry. I mean, to lose the type of vendors that they are. I mean, they are genuinely great people who have really provided great service to the industry, not just our industry, but to other industries as well. I mean, comic industry, anime. I mean, they've really, I've seen them at all kinds of conventions. So, I mean, they've gotten out there, but I know it's been hard times for them personally, professionally. So, like I said, we wish them all the best in whatever they're going to do next. But like I said, I mean, we had discounts with them, which was awesome, a 20% discount. I mean, now they still are honoring that until the last inventory is sold. They're not making anything new, but they do still have some stuff online. So any chamber members, up until that point can use a special discount code. They need to get a hold of us for that, or it's in the members only area that discount code is there. But once again, you have to be a member of the chamber to use it. But it gives you 20% off. So I mean, for some things you're saving $20-$30 or even more, sometimes 40 to 50 to 60. So I mean, depending on what you're buying, I mean, it's a good chunk of change that you're keeping in your pocket. But like I said, they've been awesome to work with. We work with VFX. Patrick Voss, he's just an awesome guy. I mean, we've had nothing but good things to say about him.
Fantastic. Oh my gosh.
Oh, he is. I mean, I met him for the first time a couple of years ago at Transworld, and then again at East Coast, whenever we had East Coast a year ago. I saw him again, but I mean, just a fantastic guy. I mean, the first time I met him, he came over, I told him who I was, and just gave me a hug, met me and let me play with some of his dolls, gave me a shirt. And I mean, he's just I mean, one of the nicest guys. I mean, just phenomenal, very nice, very professional. Can't say enough about him. We also work with the Texas Horrors Convention. They're our home, our official home. So, I mean, that's where we hold all our business annually. Now, this year, it's going to be in a different location because they've outgrown their current location. So they're no longer in Mesquite.
Yeah.
They're in Irving, Texas.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yes, the bigger convention. They're soon selling out of their booths. I mean, it's a lot of people are going to be there. I mean, I know CFX is there, Froggy's Fog is there. I mean, so a lot of the people that you're seeing at a lot of the Trans World shows are also making it there because it's like I said, they're having success there. I mean, the show's growing. They're having thousands of people attend. So, I mean, I definitely would suggest anybody. It's a great time. We have a haunt tour, which we sponsor. So, I mean, we do that, and that's always a great time. I myself and a couple of chamber board members will go, and we'll have a fun time with everybody that's there. It's a whole night thing. There's meet and greets. There's the costume ball, which is also always really awesome. Costume contests. Then you have the floor stuff, events for kids as well. I mean, it's just all over, and just the board members of the Texas Horrors Convention are just amazing people. Like I said, it's been an honor to work with them for the last I think it's been 5 years now. we've been working together, and it's just been amazing. The partnership we have with them, and we can't be more grateful to work with them. But like I said, you get discounts as a member to attend there, for being a member. So, I mean, we love when members come out. This year we're going to have we're hoping to have a big celebration there. I don't want to get into too many details just yet because we haven't made anything finite, but we do have some exciting things for us being there. We will have a walkthrough. We usually build a walkthrough for people. I mean, everybody can go through it, but it's a free walkthrough, a haunted house walkthrough, along with our booth there, so people can get to know us and they can sign up on site. So, I mean, there's, it's just a great time to get to see everybody in person, spend some time together. We usually go out and eat, some of us, and, do some activities together. I mean, we'll stay up late at night, talk. I mean, it's a great time to really talk with some people. And so, like I said, definitely, people want to come out. It's the end of July when they'll be happening.
Yeah. And you often use the Texas Haunters Convention to push your education programs as well, don't you?
Yes, I mean we'll do some of our educational programs there. That's one of our biggest areas. Like so we try to do a lot of it online to allow people all over the country to really have the opportunity to do it on their time frame. But we do offer in-person stuff, so that way anything in person people can come down and get while they're there. So I mean, like I said, the Texas Arts Convention Board has been really gracious in allowing us to initiate some of our programs and push some of our programs there. Like I said, because that helps us a lot. I mean, so yeah, we've been able to push a lot of things there, and it's been really wonderful to do.
And talk about the ghost certificate that comes along with that.
Yeah, so our ghost program we started about a year and a half, 2 years ago. What it's evolved to now is a safety program where we deal with things like fire safety, health safety, especially with COVID. Like I said, I mean, it may not pose the same problems that we had when initiated, but it doesn't mean sicknesses. I mean, heck, I don't know if many of you have heard of some of the sicknesses that are coming out now, but I know in my school, teachers and students are dropping like flies. I've had classes where I have 20 kids and 5 show up. I've had days like this whole week where every day there's 7 or 8 or 9 teachers out, which is like insane. I mean,
yeah, there's been a crazy
30,
norovirus thing going around here.
It's crazy. I mean, it's running rampant. So obviously we're not immune, and October is not going to be any better, as far as the sickness is going away. So, we have health, different health trainings that we put people through. And a sad one that we hate to have to even do, but I mean, this day and age, it's happened at some haunts is active shooter training. I mean, you wouldn't think of that. I mean, for a long time, nobody had that kind of training. I mean, you may have done it yourself as a haunt owner, but it's not like we had anything like that in the industry. And we started doing that because once again, I had taken training with the Pennsylvania State Police in active shooter training. And I was like, this is training that my organization, the Chamber of Haunters, needs. Like, my members need this. Like, if I'm coming and getting trained for this as a local haunter, my members are definitely in need of it all over the country, not just me here in PA. So, like I said, I mean, those are just a few of the things that we provide.
Yeah, it's tragically become a necessity, well beyond the scope. Yeah.
Right. And like I said, sadly, it's like you hate to have to discuss it, but I mean, once again, I'd rather my haunters be prepared and know what to do in those situations than to react. I mean, I remember, once again, not to get in a lengthy story, but short and sweet. My friend and I went to a haunt in the off season one night, and this was like 2 years ago, I think 3 years ago. And it was a haunt that's about 3 to 4 hours from me. And my friend knew the owner. I didn't know this owner, but he did. And so we went to visit him and told him we were coming. So we got to talk to him a little bit. While we were there, within, I think, a 10-mile radius, there was another haunt nearby that had an active shooter situation where a guy got mad about something in the line with someone else, went out to his car, grabbed a gun, came back and shot him right there. And, it's just like, you never know what's going to set somebody off. I mean, it's sad that people can't just walk away from a situation, but obviously, we don't know what's going on in people's minds. Mental health is a big thing these days, and that plays a big part into this. And so, you never know what's going to snap somebody's mind and what they're going to decide to do. And so, like I said, we try our best to take the same training from the Pennsylvania State Police and take that training and provide it to our chamber members. Because once again, I want to make sure that they are prepared. I hope to heaven they never have to deal with it. But if they do, at least they're prepared. I mean,
and even at a lower level,
you're ever truly prepared, but at least you know what to do.
But even at a lower level, someone gets injured on site. Do you have procedures in place to handle it? If someone gets lost in the haunt. A child gets lost in the haunt. There's a heart attack, whatever.
What do you do?
What do you do? And the cool thing about the Ghost program is it's training haunters in standardized procedures to deal with unexpected situations. And I think for particularly the home haunters who are trying to go pro, this is absolutely critical information to help them be successful.
And even if you're just a home haunter but your haunt is getting larger and larger, you're having more people show up and, you're bringing on actors. It's just a smart thing to be able to say to yourself or to your staff or to your family, I at least have exposure to the basic training. So I know what I should be doing, whether or not, anybody who has the ability to do that, because there's a big difference between training somebody and then having them actually be able to respond. But at minimum, you have the training. You've been told this is what this is. CPR is not about trying to keep somebody alive. CPR is about moving enough things around to keep them functional enough for the actual emergency medical to come in.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it is. It's not just, I don't need it, I'll never need it. You might. And even if you don't need it in your haunt, you might find it's useful and you need it somewhere else.
And the thing about emergencies, it's too easy to get overwhelmed and freeze up if you haven't been exposed to it, if you haven't thought ahead.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Trainings like this force you to think ahead so that you have a plan. You don't have to come up with a plan in the moment. You have concrete steps that you know to take.
I do this, I do this, I do this. See, first thing of CPR is call 911 before you do anything else. Call in the professionals so they can actually do the work. But most people are like, oh, well, I just have to start doing it. Like, no, there's steps.
There are steps. All the steps.
And the other thing too, those steps have changed since, I learned them in babysitting training school when I was 10.
Yeah.
Right.
Major things have changed since, I when I was a lifeguard in high school. So much has changed in medical science, in response, that being able to say, I'm at least up to date within the last 5 years is crucial.
Yep.
Well, and the thing is, too, and you mentioned home haunters, which I think is very critical because I've met many home haunters that just don't understand the importance of a lot of the stuff. I mean, even as far as insurance or, the trainings that we provide. I mean, because like I said, we work with insurance companies. I mean, we have a lot of contacts we put people in touch with to get best rates for different things, whether it's costumes, props, make. I mean, we have makeup teams. We have conventions, more than just textiles convention. We have a multitude of conventions that we work with. I mean, that's our home is textiles convention, but we have multitudes of conventions that we work with to help people. And so once again, you have your home hunters, and once again, I started off as a home hunter too, so I can attest to this. But home hunters are very naive in that they don't really know what they're getting into. I mean, if anybody was in need of protection more than anybody else, I believe it's a home hunter. I mean, yes, commercial hunters, you want to CYA, you want to cover your butt, but home hunters don't really. I mean, you're putting your personal home at risk when you open up, whether it's your backyard or the inside of your home. They don't get it. It's like you are putting your personal possession at risk. It's not like I have my commercial
personal liability. This is a personal liability for your person, for your property, for your finances, for your family. Something goes wrong. It's not, oh, my company is being sued. Well, that sucks. I have lawyers to deal with it. It's I'm being sued. My home insurance is going to skyrocket. I might not be able to keep my home. All of these things are suddenly so much more real, but they're not thought of because it's just a home haunt.
We're just having fun. Yeah.
Right. And they don't get that because, I mean, once again, I mean, when you're not at the commercial level, because I hate when people say, well, they're not real haunts. I mean, in my opinion, that's why we have home haunters in our membership, because they are real haunters. I mean, sorry, if you're putting your home at risk, that's a hefty price. So in my opinion, they are. They may not be commercial. They may not be making money, perhaps, but they are just as much haunters like everybody else. But the difference is many of them don't take this part seriously, the part that we're talking about right now, where they're trying to get the training to know, how do I keep, I mean, their crew, maybe their family, that's fine. But how do you keep your crew / family safe, in the case of a fire, in the case of a health emergency, in the case of an active shooter? Because you can't think, because the home haunt, I'm immune from those things. It's like, no, they can still happen. A fire can still break out. You're working with fog machines. I mean, things that have the capability of causing a fire, obviously you have the same, the same problems that we're going to face, you're going to face too. So I mean, in insurance, I mean, I tell people, I can't stress enough, like, just because you're a homeowner doesn't mean you shouldn't go get insurance. I mean, I made sure I had insurance for my attraction when it was at my home, because I thought if I get, heck, the one thing I tell all people to do, you start a business. You don't just open up a home haunt, to your home up to personal liability without taking all the steps. I tell everybody, every home haunter that I talk to, I tell them, before you open your doors to anybody, get insurance, get an LLC, protect your home, protect your family, protect yourself. I'm not saying that they're not going to try to get things from you, but you put that all under an LLC, you get the right insurance, at least you're providing yourself some kind of umbrella protection.
You are protecting your personal property, your home, your family. Right. The only thing they can touch then are the assets all tied to the LLC.
Right. I'd rather them take all my props than my home.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you're gonna sue me. Take my plywood.
Take my paintbrush.
Maybe not the
leave
plywood,
everything else alone. Leave my truck, my home.
Yeah.
and that's the biggest difference.
And that's a knowledge thing. And this is, again, why the Chamber of Haunters and what you guys are doing and what you guys are building are so much value to the haunt industry, home haunters, all the way to, your professionals. It's a knowledge thing. Most people, again, I'm just having fun. I'm doing this for my kids. Like, the neighborhood kids show up. Like, what's the big deal? It's not a big deal until
it's a big deal.
And then as soon as it's a big deal, it's too late. So, letting and providing this information, and not just providing this information but how do you form an LLC? Each state is different. But what does that entail? What is the value? What is the value of it? It is literally just a barrier of protection of anything that I have recorded to this. You can take anything that is personal. You may not.
You can't.
And, the knowledge base and what you guys are providing and making accessible is so, so valuable.
Yeah. So there's networking. There's discounts with all these partnerships that the Chamber has created. There's education. There's the Ghost program as part of the education. There's all the conventions that the Chamber is part of. What do you have that is coming new this year in 2025?
Yeah, so as a board, we've been meeting and discussing some new things. We are getting ready to work on a brand new website and a redesign for 2025. As we celebrate our 5th anniversary.
Which I'm very excited to say. Hopefully, we will have all of our content on that website.
It'll be a part of that for sure. Trust me. That's part of the whole rollout. We're looking forward to it. It's going to be a big year as we roll it out, and the whole entire rollout will take time as we roll the whole website out. Because once again, with the redesign, we're taking time with it, but it'll be exciting 2025 as we roll out the website and the new updates everybody's going to see. So it's going to be really exciting. Including, like I said, having the Ghost program available online for people at their disposal. They can take it when they need to. Like I said, I mean, that way fits your schedule. I mean, that's the thing we want to make sure of. I mean, when we had debated how to present the program or how to get it to people, the first way was in person at Texas Arms Convention, just do the whole thing there. But I thought, man, you got to wait a year to do it. And how fair is that? And we started doing it online where I, myself, or another board member would teach a class, but then it's like you're still putting people on time constraints. Like, you got to try to get people from California, Florida, Missouri, Texas, all in the same time frame. Yeah. And it's like some of them are 1 to 3 hours ahead or behind, and so you're like, how do you balance that? And so that's why, like I said, we have been working on, we're finishing up trying to make it an online program where you can get original content, original learning at your pace online anytime you want it. But then we are providing online and in-person follow-up courses that whenever there's any new information that, now we do update the courses as well, but we do provide in-person and as well as online training to compensate for that, because we know that you can't just learn just from simply watching videos or reading content, but we want them to be able to get the training at their pace, at their level, and on their time frame. And so that's why we did that. And that will be available, like I said, on our website as well, along with the members only area and everything like that. So, I mean, like I said, that's going to be rolling out. We're looking to provide, like I said, the one thing we're looking to try to do really as far as to grow our networking base is that lunch and learn aspect. Like I said, it's harder with the National Chamber of Commerce because it's not like we can say, come here to Pennsylvania and we'll do a lunch and learn. Come from California, and join us for an hour of, fellowship and friendship. That would be awesome, but I don't see anybody paying tickets, for a few $100s to come spend an hour and turn right back around and go home. So we have decided we're going to find online ways, which we've discussed. We're are confident about how to do that. We're going to have those opportunities where they can come, and it'll be a mixture of things. It might be one of those mixture kind of deals where you come and we discuss amongst each other the different things to get ideas among 10, 15 different people on how they did things. Some will be where you're instructed, where you have people that ahead of time are providing questions, and we'll take the time to answer those questions, in an online format where we'll be like, hey, we were given 5 to 10 questions. Here's how we're going to present them. Because once again, people should feel comfortable, like we said earlier, should feel comfortable to ask questions. Even if it's been asked 20 million times, they're probably asking it for the first time. I highly doubt many of those people are coming back and being like, well, I just want to know the bejesus out of somebody, so let's ask it for the umpteenth time. Like, I highly doubt that's the case 9 times out of 10. I really believe that people are just, once again, they're new to the industry. They're interested. They'd like to see if they have a home here or a place in this industry. And so they're asking the right questions, but they're getting the wrong responses. And once again, I'm all for giving them the truth, the good, the bad, and the ugly. But I think we need to be more sincere and more cautious and just simply answer the dang questions and say, okay, here's the answer to your question. Now, would you like to hear the good, the bad, and the ugly of the industry? Or do you just want to be left alone to your own devices? Let them decide if they even want to hear it. Maybe they don't care. Maybe they're like, you know what? I'll figure it out on my own.
Some people got to learn the hard way.
That's right.
I'm coming here because I'm trying to do something else, and the haunt industry, for whatever reason, is the first place I found that I could ask this question with people who might have the answer. I'm not actually interested in joining, but let's be the place that people can come to for information, regardless of whether or not, I want to be a haunter, or I just had a question and you guys seem like the right group of people to answer it.
Yeah. That's all we want to provide is those opportunities. So we have different sets of ideas as far as how to make that happen. We'll switch it up on a monthly basis, but we're hoping that's one of the first things we're hoping to roll out here, hopefully between February and March in the first quarter, to really get some of that stuff moving, as well as, we have our legal team who, like you said, they're in all 50 states. We work with a national law organization who anytime that somebody needs something, they get an hour free consultation. And then after that, they need representation. They'll put them in touch with, a lawyer local to their region. I mean, once again, what region that is, that depends on where they live. But once again, we can get them lawyers off of these states that deal with the entertainment industry or even haunted attractions. So, I mean, this is more of a localized grassroots approach, because once again, while it may be in all 50 states, a national organization, we have people that can help you locally in your area with your own state or local problems, and specifically in the industry itself, meaning that it's not just some lawyer that's going to tell you, well, I would do this, I would do that, who has no experience in this type of law, because you have those types of lawyers out there, that push this, and it's like they try to pretend like they know what's going on or they know what they're doing because they're just trying to be helpful, which is fine, but they might not be giving them the right advice that they need based off of the industry and what's going on with their situation. So having an organization like this partner with us and being at our disposal to use is, once again, worth its weight in gold. I mean, you're talking lawyer fees, you're talking hundreds of dollars sometimes just in consultation. If you need to ask a question for an hour's worth of time, right there is probably your annual fee.
You have paid for it. Exactly. Your annual fee is paid for itself.
Yeah. So you talk to a lawyer one time, you paid for your annual dues. Everything else then is icing on the cake.
Exactly.
And you talk to a lawyer that specializes in your region, in your state's laws, in the entertainment industry, not just going to Reddit and being like, hey, Reddit, and getting all of these. Well, I'm not a lawyer, I'm a lawyer, but I really do child custody cases, but here's my 2 cents. Where it's like, yes.
But.
And this is also what's the cost of free advice? Well, in this case, hey, we have an entire organization that's designed to connect me with somebody who actually is in a position to give me legitimate information for my specific area and needs. Much better.
And that's what we're trying to do, is just make sure we connect people with the right people, get them in front of the right people, help them to know the right information. I mean, that, like I said, is so crucial. I mean, heck, I mean, like I said, I'll pay. I mean, like I said, I pay the annual fee. I'm the president. I still pay the annual fee, and for me, it's worth it. Like I said, even as the president, even though I'll be honest, I'm selective in what I partake of because I don't want to take advantage of any of the things that we have. Because as a president, you don't want to be looked as that person. Because, like I said, it's more for our members. But I mean, heck, just for that alone, I mean, I've had to use that already. I've had to use that consultation a couple times, and that in itself, I mean, I would pay the annual fee alone just to have like I've had a situation where I'm like, hey, I might have a problem that may or may not be a problem, and can you tell me if it is or not? And that 1 hour has been so crucial and let me know, like, hey, thank you for telling me this because otherwise I would have paid someone hours worth of hundreds of dollars and hours worth of labor to get this answer. Whereas in 1 hour, they gave it to me because they knew what they were doing. They could do it in that hour, saving me all that money. And now I didn't have to go hire a lawyer because not saying it couldn't be a problem, but it's not a problem now. And they were able to advise me what to do to keep it from becoming a problem, to be proactive versus reacting. So like I said, I mean, once again, I mean, people have to remember, because I mean, you'll get people out there that say, well, I'm not getting the value. And I get that. I mean, I know everybody wants discounts. They want this and they want that. But it's like to have the help and the assistance when you want it, to be able to call any board member and get the help you want, to have the training available at your fingertips, which is what we offer, to have a legal team at your disposal. I mean, granted, you have to be available when they're available, kind of thing. But I mean, to have that, though, just to have somebody you can talk to for an hour to make sure you're not in some kind of real danger or trouble. I mean, the networking and those things alone, you're talking hundreds of dollars of value just in that. That doesn't include the discounts. That doesn't include, the Ghost program. That doesn't include, we're going to start pushing out merch soon, because we've had members saying, oh, we want new merch. And it's like, well, that's awesome. We'll look into that. So we're looking into that as well. I mean, there's a lot of great benefits that we're looking to add, but it's like just in those 3 to 4 things I mentioned, just before I mentioned those last couple, you have hundreds of dollars of value. And sometimes that's hard to see because that's the what I call the unspoken money, because it's like it's blind. You don't see it. Well, yeah. When I network, like, yeah, I don't see money floating around. When I go talk to the lawyer for free, I don't see money floating around. It's like they're not seeing the money being crossed, but it's like you're getting these services for free, where you might not have gotten that, or if you would have gotten it for free, it might not have been the advice you needed, because it might have been what people wanted to give you, but not the advice you actually needed. And it's like there's a difference between someone just giving you negative responses or just answering to be a smart aleck versus actually truly answering your question, to answer it. And then, like I said, you want to tell the ugly bits? Fine, do it after. But answer the question. That's my biggest pet peeve. Just answer the question. They ask a sincere question. They obviously do not know. And every new person starts out with the same thing. They always say, I'm new to the industry. That's how they start, to make it clear, because I think they're all afraid. So they say, I'm new to this. This is my first time. How do I start? And yet you still have this, and it's the same people hopping on the bandwagon. Well, I wouldn't do it. I don't think you understand how hard it is. And, these things can happen and people can sue. And it's like, yes, that can happen, but let's not scare them away from the industry. We do need some blood to come flowing back in. Mm-hmm. If we scare everybody away, instead of trying to say, hey, yeah, there's some scary bits, but as a Chamber of Haunters, what we tell them is, hey, look, yeah, it can be scary, but we will hold your hand through the process. We will help you go through this. Like, you have a family and a team on your side now that can help you, not only legally because of the law team, but also many of us have been in this for 20, 30, 40 years. Many of us have been, I've been haunting for almost 30 years. So there's people that have been in this industry long enough that they know what they're doing. They can provide the real life help that you need. Not saying it's going to be easy, but we can make it maybe 1 or 2% easier than it would be on your own. And right there, like I said, you're talking a huge value that you're not seeing it. It's like, but when you start making your thousands of dollars and you've got people coming through your door because you took the risk and you followed the guidelines and advice that we've set before you to have that success, many people don't go back and say, oh yeah, thanks to you, I made $20,000 my first year. They just see, oh, well, I'm not getting this physical thing. I don't have this physical thing to hold, like keys. Like, I don't have these physical keys that I know how to value. It's that unspoken money where, you don't see it floating around in some physical value. And it's like, yes, we all want the physical value, but that unspoken value where you can't see it is the biggest value you're going to get. It's the value that is going to actually make you the money. I mean, yeah, I've got keys,
it's the goodwill,
but they don't make me money.
Yeah, I think you just
honest.
summed up the chamber so beautifully. That really is what you guys are all about, providing all of that value for a tiny fee comparatively.
And it's the goodwill calculation. It's not tangible, but the value of it can be incalculable.
So we are right about the hour mark. I think we're a little over the hour mark. What have we not covered? Is there anything else that you wanted to bring up about that the Chamber's got going on this year?
I mean, other than the things I mentioned, I mean, the biggest things would be, like I said, please, I mean, everybody should be following us on social media. We're really going to up our social media presence. You know, we're looking forward to that. So, like I said, watch us on Facebook and other social media outlets to keep up with what we're doing. We're going to let people know about events and different things. We'd love people to attend. Once again, many of them are not just for members. So that's something to keep in mind.
On that note, what conventions are the Chamber going to be at? If people want to, find a board member, talk to them in person, get more information, where can they find you during the convention season this year?
Yes. So we've been invited to a couple. We many of us travel to Transworld. I mean, we're not going to have a booth there this year. We're probably going to try to next year, but this year we're going to go just as customers. But many of our board members will be there and we'll be available to talk, after hours, or if you see us on the floor, please, talk to us. I mean, obviously, we're not going to be going around. I mean, we don't do the suitcasing thing that we're not going around the talk field. But I mean, if you see us on the floor, I mean, obviously, if you ask us a question, we're going to answer it. But like I said, our purpose isn't to go around and do that. We try to respect the show because Jen and Rich are awesome people, and we've talked to them in the past, and they're amazing people. They allow us to come to Midwest and to East Coast, which will be at East Coast. We're trying to be at Midwest. Once again, it's a lot of logistics. We're trying to get our different board members to attend. But like I said, we will be. I remember we'll be at Transworld, especially after the show ends. People want to go out and eat and get to know us better. We'd love to go out and meet new people and just talk. So like we'll have people in attendance, just won't have, a physical booth there. But like I said, I do tell people, please go to Transworld. We love Jen and Rich and the show they provide. They are some of the most amazing people I've ever met. Seriously. I mean, just great people. And they have amazing shows. Those who have gone know the remarkable show they have. So please go. Like I said, we do plan on trying to be at East Coast and Midwest this year. We may be at other new cons like Galaxy Con. There's some other cons that joined the Chamber, and they've invited us out. So we're looking into the possibility of what it would entail to get to some of those. And then obviously our home, which is the Texas Haunted Convention, we'll have a booth there. We'll have a walk-through haunted attraction that they can go through. It's just a short one, but we provide that for all the customers and kids to come through. And then you end at our booth, and you can come get to know us better. And some can sign up or renew if it's that time of year for them. So we'll be at those places. And like I said, I mean, we're trying to get out to other places, whether as having a booth or just an attendance, so that way we can be seen. I mean, like I said, we're just there to be seen and show the people that we're normal hunters like everybody else. But yeah, I mean, have your eyes out on social media, especially keep up, watch our website for the updates. But we'll be keeping everybody up to date. It's supposed to be a big year for us with being our 5th year, so we're really looking to celebrate in a big way.
Yeah, and if you need more information on any of those conventions that Rob just mentioned, go check out the Haunting You website under our events tab, and you can find links to all of those conventions as well as the dates that they are going to be running. Well, Rob, it is always a pleasure to have you come out to the Haunting You podcast, and we love hearing what the Chamber has in store. I am so excited for 2025 and your 5th year and all of the exciting things that you're going to do. I'm planning to get out to more conventions this year because I'm back on the East Coast. I'm close to East Coast, so I'll be up there at East Coast. I've already paid for a booth at Hunters Against Hate, so we will be there in August. Nice. I don't know when I'm going to get out to Texas. I'm never in that direction, but we'll see what happens.
It's a hard one.
I can't.
I'll tell you what, if you can make it, I mean, we used to fly out, now we drive out. And it's a long drive, but I'll tell you what, it's a fun drive. You can see a lot of stuff in the United States. But if you ever get a chance to make it to Texas Haunted Convention, you will not be disappointed. I can promise you that much.
It's an amazing time. If they're getting a new venue this year, like it sounds like it's going to be a good year to be there.
Oh, it will be.
I'm going to be in Boston that weekend.
Wrong direction, Les.
Sister concert.
Fair. Well, Rob, thank you for coming out, and we look forward to everything else that we get to do together this year. Rob, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate
I appreciate it.
So great to see you.
Good to see you guys too. You have a great night.
You too. We'll chat later.
Take you later.
All right, let's wrap it up. Yeah, so it's always a pleasure having Rob come on and give us an update on the Chamber of Haunters. Definitely go check them out at chamberofhaunters.com if you want to learn more, or find them at one of the conventions coming up this year. Speaking of which, let's go do a quick run through, because this is our first show of the year and we're getting into convention season. In fact, convention season kicks off right at the end of this month, February 27th. Transworld's Halloween and Attraction Show in St. Louis, Missouri will be the first convention of the year. And that will be followed very quickly by Haunt Fest, April Ghouls. In fact, we will have Roseanne back on the Haunting You podcast probably in March to discuss all of the fun things they have coming up for Haunt Fest. That is April 4th through 6th down in Athens, Georgia. Then at the end of April, East Coast Haunters Convention is back for their second year, Oaks, Pennsylvania, April 26th and 27th. I intend to be there just as an attendee because I'm on the East Coast and it's pretty damn close to me. I'm very excited to see what they have there. Then Midwest Haunters Convention, June 6th through 8th in Rosemont, Illinois. Midwest always has just an absolutely phenomenal show. Highly recommended. If you're in the area, go check them out. Rob mentioned the Texas Haunters Convention, the official convention of the Chamber of Haunters. That is in July 26th and 27th this year. He said where they are now. I'm going to have to look it up because
Irving,
I missed it. Irving, Texas.
Irving, Texas. It's right between Dallas and Fort Worth on the Dallas side of the equation, just a little bit north. So
perfect.
Easy to get into, easy to get out of, much larger location. And there's going to be a lot of things to do if you want to make it a longer weekend and book some time on either side of the event. They're still finalizing all of the classes and everything because I was, snooping around their website because of course I am. Tragically, I will not be in Texas to die at the end of July. I will instead be in Boston dying of humidity at the end of July.
Oh.
Awful.
Pardon, I was going to ask you when it was. I thought you said February earlier. That's too bad.
So the next event will be Haunters Against Hate, the event number 3, Season of the Witch. That is we will have a booth there. That is August 8th through 10th in Louisville, Kentucky at the Crown Plaza. So very excited to be heading out to Haunters Against Hate. Phenomenal organization, and I absolutely adore their mission. So I'm so excited to be supporting them during this event.
Yeah.
And then finally, Midsummer Scream will wrap up convention season August 15th, 17th at the Long Beach Convention Center in Long Beach, California. That is a really fun convention. They have the horror. They bring in so much from the horror industry as well as the haunt industry. It's a great convention in Southern California. The weather's always phenomenal. Go check them out if you are in that area as well. So, huge year for conventions coming up. We are very sad to say that Fear Expo and HauntCon had to cancel this year, and it sounds like they are not planning anything for the foreseeable future. Of course, if we hear anything come out of there, we will report it on our website, hauntingyou.com. John, do you want to give us a rundown of the rest of our social media and where people can find us?
Let's see. You can find us on Instagram at Haunting University. You can find us facebook.com/hauntingyou. YouTube is just, what is YouTube? Haunting You.
At Haunting You.
Yeah.
At youtube.com/@hauntingyou.
Easy enough. Then you can find the podcast anywhere you can find any podcast. Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Audible, anything. Any place you can find podcasts, you can find us.
Exactly. Anything else we should talk about before we close it out, lady and gent?
We're back.
Very excited for 2025.
We are going to survive 2025.
We have big plans in store. Thank you for that. We have big plans in store for Halloween 2025, and we will be talking about them on future episodes of the podcast. So definitely go subscribe so that you can keep up with all of the excitement that we have going with Sanguine Creek Estates. In the meantime, I think we call it a night. So from all of us here at Haunting You, happy haunting.
Bye.
We are incredibly thankful to all the sponsors who make this show possible, particularly our premium sponsors, the Chamber of Haunters and Fear Expo. You can learn more at chamberofhaunters.com and fearexpolive.com. Check out the Haunting You podcast at hauntingyou.com for more information on everything that we do. Haunting You is a production of the Rocky Mountain Home Haunters, LLC. All audio clips and sound effects are used under a Creative Commons Attribution or Public Domain license from Purple Planet Music at purple-planet.com or the Sound Bible at soundbible.com. Please see the show notes for more information on all the clips used in this episode.
In case he's a haunt enthusiast, which I highly doubt, and stuff, just we miss you, Miko, if you're listening.
We do miss you, Miko, but we're really, really happy that out of all the places you got traded to, at least it's not a place we hate. So,
that's going to be the post-credits drop.
I watched him score his first goal.
Aww.